The restaurant had gone strangely quiet. Forks stopped midair. Conversations thinned to silence, replaced by the sound of chairs scraping against the tile and the pounding of two sets of heavy boots. James Carter, 37, widowed, raising his 7-year-old daughter alone, hadn't planned for any of this. He just wanted dinner after a long day. He'd promised Emma a night out, something fun, something normal. Life hadn't been easy since her mother passed, and he'd been trying, piece by piece, to fill the gaps with love, routine, and small joys. But then came the shouting. Two men, loud, drunk, eyes burning with some wild rage, had cornered a young woman near the back. She'd been sitting alone, a half-eaten burger still on her plate, when they'd started with taunts that quickly sharpened into threats. Come on, sweetheart, don't walk away from us. No one's gonna help you here. The woman's chair clattered as she pushed back, trembling but firm. Leave me alone. James felt Emma's tiny hand squeeze his. He looked down. She wasn't crying, but her wide hazel eyes told him everything. Daddy, do something. He didn't think. He couldn't. The father in him moved before reason did. Hey. James's voice cut across the room. Strong. Commanding. It surprised even him. That's enough. The men turned, eyes narrowing. The bigger one smirked. What's it to you, tough guy? James pushed back his chair and stood, putting himself between the men and the woman. His heart was hammering, but he forced his voice steady. She said no. Leave her alone. One of them laughed, but it wasn't friendly. It was the kind of laugh that dripped with danger. Or what? You gonna play hero in front of your kid? That did it. James's jaw tightened. He didn't swing first. He'd never been that type. But when the first attacker lunged, James shoved him back with a force he didn't know he still had. The second came at him wild, throwing a sloppy punch. James ducked, caught the man's arm, and pushed him hard into the table. The restaurant erupted then. Shouts, gasps, someone yelling for the police. Chairs scattered. And then, almost as suddenly as it began, it was over. The attackers, muttering threats they couldn't back up, stumbled out the door before the cops even arrived. The woman was safe. Shaken, but safe. James turned to Emma, who was clinging to the edge of their booth. She looked up at him with awe in her eyes, whispering, Daddy, you protected her. He knelt, brushing her hair back gently. Sometimes you just have to do what's right, sweetheart. The woman approached, her voice soft. Thank you. I don't know what would have happened if you hadn't. James shook his head. You don't owe me thanks. Just be okay. She nodded, eyes glistening. And then she left. The next day, life should have gone back to normal. But it didn't. James couldn't stop replaying it. Not the fight. That part was already fading, but the look on the woman's face. Fear, yes. But something else too. Loneliness, like she had nowhere to go. Emma seemed restless too. On their morning walk to school, she kept glancing at her dad, chewing her lip like she had words trapped inside. Finally, just before they reached the gates, she blurted, Daddy, can we help her? James blinked. Help who? The lady from the restaurant. Emma's little brow furrowed. She looked so sad. You told me we should help people when they need it. Not just protect them once. Her words landed like a stone in his chest. Out of the mouths of children came the truths adults too often ignored. I don't even know her name, Emma, he said gently. But maybe she needs us, Emma pressed, eyes earnest. James knelt to meet her gaze. Sometimes, sweetheart, people don't want strangers stepping into their lives. Sometimes they do, she countered softly. He hugged her tight, but as he walked away from the school, her words stuck. That evening, as James passed the same restaurant on his way home, he saw her. The woman, same hair pulled back, same faint air of exhaustion, was sitting on the curb outside, hugging her knees. A duffel bag lay at her side. James slowed. He could have kept walking. But Emma's voice whispered in his mind. Daddy, can we help her? He approached cautiously. Hey, you okay? Her head lifted. Recognition flickered. You're the guy from last night. Yeah, James. He gestured at the bag. Rough day. She gave a small, humorless laugh. You could say that. Got evicted this morning. Guess I was behind more than I thought. James shifted, unsure how much to pry. Do you have somewhere to go? Silence. She hugged her knees tighter. Look, he said finally, I know it's not my business. But my daughter, she asked me today if we could help you. And I didn't know what to say. She's 7, but she's stubborn. If she saw me walking past right now, she'd give me that look. For the first time, the woman's lips curved into something like a smile. Faint, tired, but real. Your daughter sounds smart. She is. He hesitated, then added, Look, I'm not suggesting anything crazy. But we've got a guest room. If you need a place for a night or two. Safe place. Hot meal. No strings.
Her eyes filled, and she blinked hard. You don't even know me.
No. But I know what it feels like to lose your footing. And sometimes a hand up is the only thing that keeps you from falling further. She studied him, weighing trust against fear. Finally, she nodded. My name's Lily. That night, Emma's excitement nearly burst through the roof when James brought Lily home. You're the lady Daddy protected, Emma said, rushing to set the table. Do you like spaghetti? Daddy makes it almost as good as Mommy did. James caught the flicker of pain that crossed his daughter's face when she mentioned her mom, but then Emma brightened again, chattering about school and art projects while Lily listened with patient warmth. Over dinner, Lily shared little pieces of her story. She'd moved to town for a job that fell through, then one setback turned into another. I thought I could handle it, she admitted, voice breaking, but I couldn't. You don't have to handle everything alone, James said quietly. For a moment, their eyes met, something unspoken passing between them. Two people carrying invisible weights, realizing they weren't the only ones. Days stretched into a week. James kept telling himself Lily would leave soon, but each evening Emma would tug at his hand and whisper, Can she stay a little longer? And Lily wasn't just a guest anymore. She helped with homework, read bedtime stories, even fixed the wobbly kitchen cabinet James had been ignoring for months. One night, after Emma was asleep, James found Lily on the porch, staring up at the stars. You've changed things, he said softly. She glanced at him, puzzled. Me. For Emma, she hasn't laughed this much in months. Her eyes softened. Maybe she needed another woman around. Maybe we all did, he admitted. There was a long pause. And then, almost shyly, she asked, Why did you stop that night? You didn't know me. James looked out at the dark horizon. Because no one else was moving. And I thought, what if that was my daughter, years from now, alone and scared? Wouldn't I want someone to stand up for her? Her breath hitched. She turned her face away, but he saw the tears anyway. The next morning, James was making pancakes when Emma came bounding in. Daddy, can we keep her? She asked, pointing toward Lily, who was laughing at the counter. James chuckled, shaking his head. Sweetheart, people aren't pets. But when he looked at Lily, he realized Emma hadn't meant it that way. She meant, can we keep helping her? Can she keep helping us? And for the first time, James didn't have an answer. The world outside hadn't changed. Bills still came. Work was still hard. But inside that little house, something had shifted. A family, broken in different ways, was beginning, slowly, to piece itself together again.